When I was 22, I spent 6 months working as a geological survey assistant in Oregon. It was grunt work, collecting rock samples, logging erosion data, hiking off-grid locations most people didn't know existed. I loved it. I liked the silence, the rhythm, and the way the wilderness made everything man-made feel small and temporary. Until I was sent to the Sallow Creek Basin. It's not on most maps, not by name. Just a patch of forest between two minor ridgelines, bordered by old mining claims from the 1800s. The guy I was replacing warned me with a joke. If you start hearing knocking underground, walk faster. I laughed, he didn't. The first time I went in, I noticed how strange the terrain felt, like it had sunk in on itself at some point. Trees grew at odd angles. Roots popped out of the ground like exposed veins. The creek itself didn't babble or rush. It gurgled like it was trying to keep a secret. My job was to check a series of mineral deposits along the northern slope and record any subsidence. I found a few shallow sinkholes and a collapsed cave mouth. Nothing unusual. But that night, camped on the ridgeline above, I started hearing the sound. Knocking. Faint. Rhythmic. Like someone tapping on the underside of a wooden table. I turned off my headlamp and listened. It came in bursts. Tap, tap, tap. Silence. Then again. Closer. I chalked it up to falling rocks, thermal stress, normal geological stuff. But the next morning I found something odd near the fire pit. A small pile of stones stacked in a perfect spiral. I hadn't done that, and I'd been alone. I brought it up to my supervisor. He shrugged and said, "Probably just some hiker messing around." But the way he said it, it felt rehearsed. Week 3 is when things got worse. I was halfway through the survey grid, hiking near the creek bed, when I found a cave I hadn't marked. It was narrow, almost like it had been forced open from within. I felt a breeze come out of it, cold, unnatural. Not the kind of air you expect in July. And then I heard it, a voice, just one word. Help! It echoed up from the dark, but it didn't sound scared. It sounded curious, like it wanted to see who would answer. I backed away and marked the cave entrance with red flagging tape. I wasn't equipped for spelunking, and I had no radio signal, but I didn't leave. I don't know why. Something in me, something not smart, wanted to hear it again. And that night I did. Help! Whispered through the forest, from different directions. Never panicked, always patient. I barely slept. The next day I packed up camp and started hiking out of the basin. Halfway up the ridge I saw footprints in the mud. Bare feet. Human. They weren't there before. And they didn't come from anywhere. Just appeared from a thicket and walked in a straight line toward my tent. I turned around and left. Didn't collect the last samples. Didn't close my log. I didn't report anything. I didn't want to be labeled the unstable field tech. But the next year a new assistant went in. Jason, nice guy. We had lunch before his deployment. I told him to be careful in Sallow Creek. Told him to leave the caves alone. He thought I was joking. 3 weeks in, he stopped reporting. Search and rescue found his tent. Empty, no sign of struggle. But outside the entrance was another spiral of stones, and something worse. His voice recorder was still running. The last 30 seconds were quiet, just wind and leaves until one sound broke through. Knocking, slow, deliberate. Then his voice, barely a whisper. I didn't say help, I only heard it. The last thing on the tape was laughter. Not his, something else. They never found his body, officially listed as lost to terrain. The program was shut down shortly after. Funding cut, site scrubbed from public databases. But that didn't stop the locals from talking. An old hunter from a nearby town told me his grandfather called that area Hollowland. Said the first prospectors claimed the mines dug into something alive. Said some came back with stories of tunnels that changed while you walked them, voices in the rock, and things that moved like shadows behind stone. Others didn't come back at all. I don't go into the backcountry much anymore, but sometimes I still dream about that cave. In the dream, I walk inside. Not because I want to, because I have to. And at the end of the tunnel, there's no creature, no monster, just a hole, a perfect, bottomless shaft, and something deep below it that keeps knocking. waiting for me to knock back.